Once again, welcome back to Plot.
Right, well, good afternoon everybody. Once again, welcome back to Plot. It's so unreal up here in the northeaster weather. Yesterday was absolutely beautiful, red hot, sun was shining. We managed to get the top greenhouse, the one that's going to be come down next year. We managed to get that all cleaned out and the bed ready. It's all been limed, manured, and hopefully I'm going to get the garlics planted today and the japs tomorrow. But I thought I would just pop in here just for an hour. It's so nice in here. This is the lower bottom tunnel. We've got most of our spring bedding in. As you can see, it's full of the winter pansies. They'll be going into baskets soon. I've still got my baskets to take down home, get shot them, and then of course they'll go in that place. There's trailfuls of wallflowers, any amount, and then of course we'll come on the winter veg, and these are our spring cabbage Duncan. We grow these every year, apart from a few other varieties, but they're ready to go in. The ground in here it's all been prepared. Roger's getting it turned over. We've got bags of muck ready to go in. Once again, all this will need is a good liming. We had the potatoes in here, the early potatoes this year. The crop was fantastic, and then that was followed by we had a row of tomatoes along here, we had peppers, we had sweet corn. The bed was absolutely chocker. I had butternut squash on the bottom, and it was great. We got some fantastic crops. So the bed's been well used this year. These are the sweet peas, if you remember. I put them in last week, and of course they're up here. They're on the top shelf near the light where they should be. Nice and cool. As I say, there's mesh on these doors here. Wind blows through all the time. Nice and cool. But with that sunshine getting up, it's starting to get a tad warm, so I'm going to take this jacket off before starting there. I don't want to get over hot in here. Well, I'll give you a quick walk around in here, because you haven't been up here in here for quite a while. And once again, we've got our winter collies here. I'll just walk right through a spider's web. They're monsters up here. Some of the wolf spiders, absolutely massive. Once again, we've got our winter collie 3, and we've got some more cabbage here, Durham earlies, and down here, this is where I was potting off the other day, or the other week I should say, and this is all the foxgloves. And these will sit here all year, with them being perennial or biennial, whatever way you want to treat them. But these are lovely little plants, nice and strong, and of course these will sit here for another, I should reckon, about another 2 or 3 weeks. There's no roots in the bottom yet, or there's just a little bit potting through there. So I'm never in a hurry to pot these off, because once you start potting them off into fresh compost, fresh soil, the roots get in and they start to grow away really quickly. I just want to slow them down. These aren't going anywhere until next year. So in October now, if I can squeeze it till the end of this month, when it starts getting a lot cooler, it's going to slow the growth down. But hopefully by then I'll have them potted up into that 6-inch cell trays, and then they can sit all the winter, right through the winter into January, February, and then lovely little strong plants for planting out in the March. This is the Helenium. I had a packet of seed Helenium lollipop. It's the first time I've grown these, but they're growing really well. I've got the Bellis Daisy over there. I've got 3 beautiful trays of larkspur. Now larkspurs are biennial. You can sow it in the garden and it'll go through right through the winter, and then it'll start growing away in the springtime. But to me, I'd rather sow them in pots and trays. As you can see, they're lovely little strong little plants. Just in a cool greenhouse, that's all, nothing else. They'll sit here the same as the larkspur. They'll sit here till I should say the same as the God, my memory, same as the foxgloves. They'll sit there. There's another tray full of foxgloves down here. Now these are the mixed ones. Absolutely fantastic. They've grown really strong. And once again, I'm checking the bottom of the pot just to make sure there's no roots going through. There's an odd one coming through there, but they're they're not strangling the pots just yet. I was going to walk through that way, but there's another big, massive spider. I usually come through the polytunnel with a stick in front of my hand as I walk along here, because every morning, especially when it's a little bit dark and dingy and you get a face full of cobweb, it's not very nice. But like everything else, they're doing their job in the greenhouse. They're eating some of the bugs anyway. But that's the state of the polytunnel at the moment. It's we've managed to get the new cover on this in the summer, if you remember. Now next door hasn't got the new cover on yet. That's going to wait another couple of weeks. Because the new teas will go in there. I've got them to sort out over the next couple of weeks. I've got 2 trayfuls in there of potatoes that we've kept back from last year. I've already ordered some new ones as well. The Myra, I'm going to sort some of them out and put some of them to one side because they've grown really well. That's the outside main crop potatoes. Been absolutely fantastic. It's sort of Myra. What I might do next week, if I save a couple of plants back, Roger can help us dig them up and I'll show you what sort of crop we've been getting from them. Absolutely fantastic, massive potatoes, but they've grown really well. I'm pleased with them. But that's another job done anyway. I'm pleased with this polytunnel. I've got my new grapevine in the bottom. What I'll do in a couple of weeks' time, once all that's died back, I'll do a full video on the grapevine, because what I've left on there is a lot of side shoots. You know why I like to leave a lot of side shoots is once they start turning brown, the sap drops, and the plants really lose all their leaves and start drying up, and the rods go nice and brown. And to me, that's a perfect time to start cutting them. Cut them off, and you can use them for cuttings. But we'll do all that probably in about a fortnight's time. Usually the back end of October, first week of November, that's when I like to get the vines done. The one down there turned nice yellow, the leaves, so I imagine another couple of weeks and they'll be dropping off. According to the forecast this weekend, it's going to be really cold up here in the north. Temperatures are going to drop down to about 14, 15 degrees. Well, we've never had that for a long time. But we need the cool weather. We need the garden to start shutting down. I'm just going to shut this door, put the bolt in. As I say, this is mesh. This was polythene, but all the polythene's dropped off it, and all that's left is just a mesh, and that's exactly the same as the 100-foot greenhouse here. This part's going to stop because I repaired all this roof last year, just up to the glass part. The hut will stay, this part of the greenhouse will stay, but everything else right up to the far end will come down, because it's been up 20 years now, and it was built with pallet wood and some old railway sleepers, pit props and that, and mine has lasted 20 years, and I'm over the moon with it. But anyway, we'll get in here. I've got the bed sorted. We'll make a couple of rifts, and we'll put the garlic in. Okay, right. Well, into the 100-foot greenhouse now, and as I say, this is going to come down this year. The only thing that's on the roof is netting of the old plastic, but that's doing a good enough job. Hopefully it'll keep the snow away. I want to get the garlics in, so what I've done along with full bed, this bed, you see the bed's been prepared, plenty of muck in it, had a good alignment, so everything's fine with it. And of course I want to get my garlics in, and these are the Province White. Now what I like to do with my garlics, once it's all prepped, get all the bulbs split, and just make a trowel, make a line down, nice straight line where you're going to plant them. If you put them in the garden outside, it's exactly the same. I like to make a furrow about 2 inches deep, and then place my garlics in, around about a foot apart. It's fine, just press them in. You won't be any further down than that. Now a lot of people make a mistake of planting the garlics too deep. You don't want to plant them too deep, because what you want the cold weather to get at them. And what the cold weather does, once you get a few frosts on them, it helps them divide and it helps them split, and that's where you get your cloves from. Now if it's not cold enough for them and they're not split, what you'll end up with is just one solid bowl. It can still be used, but in the culinary in the kitchen, nothing can still be used, but I like to see mine divide and get a good few some nice big fat cloves like that, and that's what you want. So remember, don't bury your garlic too big. 2 inches is fine. Now, as I say, the sides of the greenhouse is still up here. I'm going to take a couple of the glass panels out. What I've done on the far side there, where the polythene was, I've cut holes in the polythene and I've put net on the outside, so that wind's blowing straight through here now. As I say, the only thing that's holding this greenhouse up now is these staging tubes, which we had our shelves on. So I'm quite happy just leaving these up, and then come the end of this year we'll start taking this down. But this bed will remain as it is. It's been a great bed. We've had tomatoes, cucumbers, we've had everything in here, and they've grown really well. It's a nice deep bed, so I'm hoping that the garlics are going to do just as well. As I say, find where the root plate is, easy enough to do, and just press them into that furrow. I'll finish off down here later on, and then the rest of the bed we'll put the Jap onions in. The Jap onions are going to be exactly the same. The only difference being is that we don't make a furrow for the Jap onions. All we do is put a line down and just press them into the soil. When you're outside, you can have a little bit of bother with birds not pecking at them, especially if they've got a bit of straw on the end of them. The birds will peck at them, or they'll push her. The Jap onions will push our way out as the roots start growing, so you've got to keep going along and just pushing them back in. Sometimes you get foxes. We had a few over here last year and they destroyed the beds. We had to go right through them, trying to find where the onions were, replanting them. So this year they're going to be under cover here. They're going to be safe, and they should grow away really strong. Now, we've got 4 varieties of Jap onions, which I'll go through tomorrow. The Shakespeare ones that I got given off one of the lads across the back here, I've been having a good look up, and they've got a really good they've had a really good write-up about them. So what I intend to do next year is to grow them from seed. Now I'll be setting the seed away around about the middle of August, the end of August, and hopefully get some nice young onions for planting out in the October time. But that's the plan for next year. We'll see how it goes anyway. But I'll order some bulbs at the same time from one of the companies. But we'll do all that tomorrow. The main job of the day is to get this finished off. Get these garlics in. I haven't brought my other tripod up, so it's a bit hitty messy with this one today. But as I say, I can just show you around what I've done yesterday. I cut the polythene out and I put net on the outside, so the wind's blowing right through here. So what I need to do now is to take some of these glass panes out, so the wind blows right through, and then there's no resistance whatsoever for the winter winds. They can just blow straight through here. Bit of cover over the top, keep the birds and that off, and I'll be quite happy. So the sun's starting to shine again there now. I've taken my jacket off because it's even though the wind's blowing through here, it's quite nice in here. There's loads of strawberries, there's loads of in fact, I'll have a little wander through with the strawberries have got to be sorted out over the next week or two. They'll be having to go into the tunnels. It's there, there's loads of them on there. We'll have to get this lot sorted out. Plenty of young strawberry plants. There's still some there been cropping, so we're going to have to knock them off, knock the flowers off, give them a good feed and a good spraying, because they need tidying up, and then they'll be okay. Now this is all my stock plants in here. I've got this lot to sort out over the next couple of weeks. There's all the flowers. There's red hot pokers. There's irises. There's all sorts in here. Xanthidashas, young xanthidashas, climbing plants, there's trailing plants, ferns. So we've got quite a bit to do over the next couple of weeks, but no doubt we'll get in here. We'll get in here one week. As I say, the roof's still up, the roof's still solid, but there's just the plastic netting on the roof. Everything else is going to have to come down. We'll take the whole greenhouse down. As I say, well, you can see by there the way it's leaning over. Like that there. We don't do too much in here in case it does come down. But by cutting holes in the sides and letting the wind blow through, there's no resistance now, so it's blowing straight through. As I say, there'll be plenty of support and plenty of cover for the garlics and the Jap onions, and that's what I want. But that's the bed for the time being. I'm just finishing off this last row of garlics here. We'll get them in and I'll be well chuffed. And then tomorrow we'll crack on with the Jap onions. Okay, so see you soon. Okay, right, well, good afternoon everybody. I couldn't finish the video off yesterday because that wind just got too strong. And of course with being inside the 100-foot greenhouse here, the polythene that was rattling and one thing and that. But here we are Saturday afternoon. It's absolutely beautiful. Freezing cold, but the sun's out and it's nice inside of here. So I'm just going to crack on and hopefully get these Jap onions finished off today. I've got 2 ways of sowing them this year. The first time I've sown them in pots. I noticed a few lads have gotten this set away. So I'm going to try it. The reason being, if you've got disease in your garden, if you've got a certain patch that's got onion white rot or one of the other diseases that's been sweeping around the country the last couple of years, well, you can try it this way. I'm certainly going to try it and find out what difference there is. So for the time being, I want to get a couple of rows of radar sown in the bed here. If you remember yesterday I put the first row of garlic in. I've got a couple of 11 garlic bulbs. I've only got 5, so I'm going to put them right at the bottom of the trench so I know where they are and I can put a marker in them. This is me onions a day, as you can see. These are radar. I'm really pleased with these. I sent away for these. They're the Kings. You can see I normally send away for all my stock plants and my seed, and that's what really pleased with these. I always like to go through the bag, tip the bag out, and any small tiny ones or little thin ones or soft ones throw them to one side. Never any use. Always pick nice big fat plump ones, and there's plenty in a bag for what you pay for them. I've got 3 lots to go in. I've got the radar, I've got the red electric, which I'm going to sow inside here also, and I've got the white snowball. Now I'm doing away with the white snowball next year, and I'm going to do away with the red electric unless I can find a better way of growing them. I'll try them inside for this year and see how they go, because they're a sod to keep. If you let them dry out, that's it, they'll bolt. The red onions are prone to bolting anyway, but this red electric, I might try another variety and see how I'll get on with that next year. But because I like my red onions, but for some reason the red electric, it just doesn't agree with me, so I'm going to either change and look for a new one or just do away with them altogether. So let's crack on with this radar anyway. I've got my line sown. I'll not be putting any trowel or furrow in this time. All I like to do is I'm going to follow this line down and I just push them in about 6 inches apart, a fist apart I like to call it. 5 inches, 6 inches, plenty of room. They're going to grow. Now a lot of people, when they're outside and they're in the birds can pick it and pull them out, but with these, once you start rooting out, they're prone to pushing themselves up out the soil, so you just got to keep going around and check them every few days, and if they are pushing their way out, it's easy enough to come back and just shove them in. As I say, fist apart, easy enough to measure it, push them in, and I'm pushing these about 1.5 inches, 2 inches down, and of course this soil is lovely and soft. Roger turned it all over, we've got some fresh manure into it, and of course it's had a good alignment. So I'm just working my way down. A nice easy job. I'll get that trowel out the road. I'll leave that for the elephant garlic, so I'll shove that to one side. And as I say, all I'll do is I'll put a marker in. Now this soil's a little bit dry, so what I'm going to do is with being inside, it is open to the weather. You are getting rainfall through here, but we haven't had any rain up here for a while. So what I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm going to get the hose out and I'm going to put the sprinkler on. I'm just going to give the soil a really good soaking. I should have done it really before I planted, but it's not going to do them any harm. So as I say, I'm just working my way down. Push them in, and I can get that job finished later. So that's one thing out of my mind. I'm just going to shift this tripod down, and we'll get ourselves down to the bottom where I'm trailing this. Now I've got some Shakespeare. I mentioned last week I got some Shakespeare off one of the lads. Now, I've never grown these before, so as I say, it's the first time for everything. I think that's just perfect on there. I'll turn it around a little bit. What I've done, I've got one of my big trays. Build the cups up. The cardboard cups that I use for the sprouts, the cabbage. Well pleased with them. No damage with them whatsoever. Straight in the soil. What I like to do with me brassicas is I like to wrap them in a rhubarb leaf. But having them being in the cups, I didn't bother. It's my own mixture, 3-to-1 mixture, once again. And I'm going to get these. Shakespeare onions, which I always forget to get the stuff out when it's needed. Now, what I like to do with my onions as soon as I get them from anybody, I take them out of the bags because they tend to sweat a lot in the bags. So I take mine out. Now these haven't been sorted. Like I said before, there's bits of loose skin. There's some lovely little plump bulbs in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to plant them all. I'm going to pick out the best ones. I'm going to cherry pick the onions. There's some lovely clumps here. Really first class little onions. I've never grown these before. One of the lads up the allotment, he had grown them from seed a couple of years ago. And he got a first class crop out. So what I'm going to do next year, I'm going to grow these from seed. I'll wait about the August time, find out which company does the seed, send away, and I'll plant them in the August, and hopefully by the end of September and October, same time, we'll have some first class onion plants for planting out. It's always a trial. So I'm going to trial them this year. I'm going to trial them in the cups, and what I'll do is that they'll stop in here just the same as what these onions are in the bed. I'll leave them in the cups, and when I've got the bottom tunnel finished, when we plant out all the brassicas, I'll just leave room for a row of these onions, and we'll just see how they come on. So what I'm going to do with these is push them into the top of the cups and leave them. Now, as I say, what I like to do with my onions, as soon as I get them from anybody, I like to give them a dusting of yellow sulphur. Put them in a bag, bit of yellow sulphur in, and just give them a good shake. And that just gives them that other little bit of protection. If there is anything on the root ball, which there shouldn't be really, if you've got a good supplier, it should be first class little onions like they are, really small, plump, first class. I'm over the moon them, so I'll just work my way down these cups. I've got about 18 in this tray here. As I say, once again they're in a tray, so there's no need for overhead watering. Everything's watered from down below. The water will go into the cups. The cups will just soak them down, and then they'll feed the onions. Now, as I say, it's my 3-to-1 mixture, so there's plenty of feed in the soil. When I do the mix, I always add a couple of handfuls of bone meal, which of course bone meal's a long-lasting fertiliser, which will keep the plants fed. And then, as I say, probably end of October, when we'll get these cauliflowers and these cabbages planted. There we have it. I'll put a marker in them. It's a first class tray full of Shakespeare. There's about actually it's not too bad, there's about half a dozen left there. No doubt I'll stick them in somewhere. They're not coming wrong. But I've got the radar finished here, I've got the Shakespeare in, I've just got the red electric to put in, which I'll do tomorrow, another day. It's going to be fine again tomorrow, so I'm well chuffed. What I want to do is to get that tunnel finished off. I've got a bit muck to spread, and then I've got a lime. I want to let it lie for a week or two, or I'll gently turn it in, and then I'll lime the top of it, let the lime lie down for a week or two, and then onions and cauliflowers will be ready for planting out the end of this month. They've got a nice root in them there now. I'm not too bothered. Once again, they're in cups like this, so they'll just transplant straight into the soil. Cracking day today, as I say, the sun's shining. It's a tad cold, like it's really cold, the wind, because it's come from the north. Last night it was blowing from the west, and I thought I wouldn't get getting up today, but the sun's out. It's absolutely beautiful, so I'll pop up and get an hour's work done, and which I have done. You see, I'm really chuffed. I'm getting the red onions in, and then tomorrow afternoon I'll put the other 2 rows in, and then that's that bed finished. Get the hose out, and I'll give it a good soaking, really good soaking, and just forget about it. I'm putting them pretty close together, the rows, because reason being they're going to be hand weeded these, whereas out in the garden I'll need to give at least a foot so you can walk in between them. But this I'm shrinking it down to 6 to 8 inches per row, so I can get plenty of onions in. I'll completely fill this whole trench up. Onions never coming wrong, and if they grow well in here, as I say, next year we'll take the roof off, take the sides down, and what I might do with the staging tubes, push them to the sides. I've got some spare plastic tubing, and I might put a bit of a net over, and then use this for brassicas in the following years to come. So, you know, there's all different options, but this definitely has to come down, this greenhouse. It's been up nearly 20 years. It owes me nothing. It was free timber, and we've had some fantastic crops in it. We've had some great time planting stuff and bringing on the crops and our flowers and that. So it's past its best. It's getting a bit dangerous now, and what I'm starting to do in a couple of weeks' time is start to take the glass out the front, take them big glass panes out, and I might just put them outside in the pathway. Any of the other lads that's building anything can take them away. There's a few big window frames in it, we'll take them out, and the rest will just burn. So that's a job we've got to get started on next year, early next year when the weather warms up. I'll leave it for the time being. As I say, it's just the staging tubes that's holding the inside up here. So we're taking all the shelves down. There's nothing going to go in here next year, just to be the onions in here, and then we'll use this part through here. I put a new roof on there 3 years ago, so that's okay. We'll stop it here. We've got the hut, and we'll have that little 12-foot greenhouse, which is fine for us. Okay, right, well, I'm going to knock off, get these onions finished off, and hopefully see you all soon. Next week we'll get ourselves away into the garden and have a look around there. I'll have little bits and pieces to do. I might start the grapevine next week, I don't know, depending on the weather. If it's going to stay cold like this, it might shed all of its leaves, so I might be able to get started on that vine early on. If it does, I'll do a full video on that, from cutting it back, tying it up, to taking cuttings, everything all in one go. So keep an eye out for that one. I'll let you know how we'll get on. As I say, I'm regularly posting on the Facebook page. If you want to come over, if you can't wait for the videos, you just catch one, Jeff Foreman on the plot. I'm on most nights on the computer, so listen to different people, their tales and their stories. So if you want, you can come over, send me a friend's request, and we'll get you signed up. Okay, so that's it for now. Bye for now, and I'll see you all soon.